at HockingHillsShuttle.com.
The death count due to vaping continues to rise as Congress questions health officials. Congressional leaders react to President Trump's communication with Ukraine. And in sports, a member of Ohio's field hockey team is honored. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Ben Schwartz. Thanks for joining us. The Athens County Commissioners will meet at 8:30 tomorrow morning to appoint an acting county clerk of courts. The special meeting comes after the death of Clerk Tina Willis, who was appointed to the position last year. The Athens County Democratic Party's Central Committee will then have 45 days to appoint an interim clerk of courts until the next election. The federal government is holding a lease sale for nearly 500 acres of area for coal mining inside Wayne National Forest. According to the Bureau of Land Management, today's sale involves 7 tracts in Perry and Morgan counties that contain an estimated 1.4 million tons of underground coal. The lease offering comes in response to an application submitted by CCU Coal and Construction. They already operate an adjacent privately owned coal mine, which produces 1.2 million tons of coal a year. Nelsonville's Fruth Pharmacy is turning into a general store. The company, which has 31 locations in Southeast Ohio and West Virginia, says no job losses are expected. According to the Athens Messenger, a spokesperson for Fruth said pharmacists have been offered positions at nearby locations and other employees can continue working at the general store. An Ohio lawmaker is introducing a bill to ban the sale of flavored vaping products. The legislation was introduced Monday by State Representative Tom Patton. The bill comes as states like Michigan and New York are banning e-cigarettes as a whole. So far, the state of Ohio has identified 17 cases of severe breathing illness likely caused by vaping, with an additional 22 cases under investigation. The CEO of Juul, a major e-cigarette company, steps down today. This comes as the fallout continues following 9 reported deaths and hundreds of reported cases of lung disease related to vaping. Nadia Romero has the latest from Washington as Congress questions health officials who are trying to zero in on the probable causes.
Do you think that that's going to solve the youth vaping epidemic?
The FDA taking tough questions from lawmakers Wednesday as Congress looks into both the sudden increase in lung disease suspected by the use of vaping and e-cigarettes and the continued use of these products by children.
We do not believe that any single policy or process will solve the vaping epidemic. It's a combination of enforcement and education and multiple policy things that we're doing.
Meanwhile, the governor of New York wants to work with counterparts in Connecticut and New Jersey for a regional policy on vaping and marijuana.
It makes no sense to pass one set of rules in New York when they can just drive across the border to Connecticut and have a different set of rules and vice versa.
Just yesterday, parent Ruby Johnson told lawmakers she wants them to ban flavored e-cigarettes.
If this was romaine lettuce, the shelves would be empty. We desperately need our legislators to help us by banning the flavors that have drawn in youth like my daughter, including mint and menthol.
Health officials say they are still investigating all of the ingredients that people are breathing in.
Although these cases seem similar, it is not clear if they have a common cause or if they have different pathogenesis with similar presentation. The investigation has not identified any specific substance or product that is linked to all cases.
In Washington, I'm Nadia Romero.
Facing increasing backlash, e-cigarette maker Juul today announced it will suspend all TV, print, and digital advertising.
Hi everybody, I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. Well, it was a very hot day. That fall-like weather that we saw yesterday was good while it lasted, but it has moved out. It's pretty warm right now. 81 in Athens. Humidity is dry, 28%, mainly sunny skies. Pressure's at 29.81 inches and falling as a cold front makes its way closer to the area. Winds are out of the south-southwest at 6 miles an hour. Across the area, temperatures are in the lower and middle 80s. 81 in Columbus, 80 in Newark, 80 in Cambridge. The coolest spot is in New Lexington at 78. All under partly cloudy to mainly sunny skies all across the area. Highlights over the next couple of days, cooling off briefly for tomorrow, but a major weekend warm-up is in store, and then by next week we get even warmer. We'll talk all about that coming up on my full forecast in the next couple of minutes. So Ben, looks like summer isn't done quite yet as we go throughout the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Nicholas. More than 600 foster care children in West Virginia have escaped from foster care facilities or school in less than a year, West Virginia's Health and Human Resources say. As of September 12th, 72 children in state custody were still missing, the Charleston Gazette-Mail reports. This is just a fraction of more than 500 children that have escaped state care since last December. Health Department official Jeremiah Samples said these numbers are on track to surpass last year's. The Administrative Office of the Courts in Kentucky invites the public to the last 7 regional community forums on Kentucky's foster care system. This Thursday's meeting will be at the Eastern Kentucky Expo Center in Pikeville. Input is needed on how to improve outcomes for children in the system. That input will then be reported to Kentucky Citizen Foster Care Review Board. Ohio's system of maintaining voter rolls is outdated and could be to blame for inactive voters being removed, Ohio's election chief says. Secretary of State Frank LaRose said yesterday that they are working to find the weaknesses to make the system stronger. LaRose said he may push for the registration list to be centrally maintained since more voters are registering online. Right now, each of Ohio's 88 bipartisan county election boards maintains its own list. Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley spoke on Capitol Hill earlier today. She gave testimony to push for stronger gun control legislation. Since the August mass shooting in Dayton, Whaley has been to the nation's capital multiple times to push for stronger gun laws. At today's hearing, she spoke about how little time it took for the mass shooting to happen.
32 seconds. In just 32 seconds, 26 people had been shot, 9 families had lost loved ones, and dozens more will never be the same. The entire incident was over in half as much time as I've been speaking to you so far today.
Whaley is also continuing to work with Republican Governor Mike DeWine on gun legislation here in Ohio. A total of 18 people have been indicted on federal charges for importing and selling heroin in central Ohio. 13 people have been arrested in the state and 5 others are being sought out in California, authorities say. Federal prosecutors say workers came illegally from Mexico to Columbus to distribute and repackage heroin, selling the drug in parking lots. The group of people was also running a fake immigration identification business. The first human death in the state this year from the West Nile virus has been confirmed by the Ohio Department of Health. Authorities said today that 68-year-old Lucas County man was hospitalized with encephalitis and was also the first human case this year. Ohio had 6 fatalities from the virus in 2017 and 5 in 2016. The virus is transmitted by mosquitoes, so make sure you're covering up and wearing repellent. Ohio authorities have released video showing what seems to be an inmate in the Cuyahoga County Jail receiving contraband from out of the sky. Officials say the contraband was carried by a drone, flying over the fence at the county jail before dropping off the package. According to the authorities, the package was a satchel containing marijuana and a cell phone. As of now, no charges have been filed against the inmate, and the person flying the drone is still unidentified. Congress is denying funding at the border. Plus, the world is reacting to a transcript of a controversial phone call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
My name is Maria Moreno.
She wasn't afraid to say whatever she had to say, whether it was a politician or a worker.
The way we work, the way we suffered, the way we've been treated.
Oh, yes, I'm going home.
And then one day she disappeared.
I'm an American citizen, and I'm talking for justice.
On Secrets of the Dead, a discovery that made news around the world.
Wow, so you're talking Grand Gallery size.
Cutting-edge technology lets us peer inside the Great Pyramid for the first time in 4,000 years. Scientists used infrared thermography and cosmic particle analysis and found unknown chambers inside the ancient wonder. Scanning the pyramids on Secrets of the Dead.
If anyone ever knew the recipe for a successful life, she did.
I'm Julia Child.
Julia Child. Who was she before she cracked her first egg? And how did she become America's favorite chef?
It didn't matter what she was doing. She was having fun while she was doing it. And you got swept up in that.
If I can do it, you can do it, and here's how to do it.
Take a fond look at Julia on American Masters.
Bon appetit.
What's up, Gridiron fans? I'm Joseph Hennessy, your host of Gridiron Glory. Make sure to tune in next week for our gauntlet of Friday night action. We're seeing Vinton County take on the Athens Bulldogs, heading out to West Virginia to see Wahama battle Fed Hawk. Chillicothe travels to Logan to do battle with the Chieftains, and West Em looks for a second consecutive victory against those Generals from Sheridan. But make sure to follow our social media at Gridiron Glory and tune into our episodes on Friday night at 11:30 as well as Saturday morning. Remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
Inquiry into President Trump, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi made the announcement yesterday. Now Congress is trying to decide what the investigation will include and if it will turn into articles of impeachment. Local voters in Athens are reacting to the formal inquiry, saying this should influence how people vote in 2020.
I think the urgency is great, but I think that if we go through if the government goes through the impeachment process, it'll really, even if it doesn't do anything and he isn't removed, I feel like a lot of voters will not be happy to vote for a president who's already been impeached.
If anything does come of this, I hope people know and his supporters see that he is a criminal and they make a smarter decision when it comes 2020. That's like the most realistic hope. But I think this man's going to be sleeping at night very
I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't happened earlier. It just sort of it keeps happening. I feel like that the rumors are sort of oh, we're going to impeach him, and then it never really does. Nothing seems to stick, so I feel like he's just going to run out the rest of his term and be fine.
The transcript surrounding a controversial phone call between President Trump and the president of Ukraine has been released. It's the latest aspect of the impeachment inquiry facing President Trump. President Trump asked Ukraine's president to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Some call the transcript a smoking gun. Others say it's much ado about nothing. Mary Maloney is in Washington to explain.
In the midst of an impeachment inquiry centered around President Trump, the president sat down with his Ukrainian counterpart for the first time. But the two leaders have spoken before. The White House released a transcript of a call from July. In it, President Trump asked President Zelensky for, quote, a favor. Among other things, investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son, Hunter. The president wanted the Ukrainian leader to work with Rudy Giuliani, his personal lawyer, and U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr. The conversation came after the United States temporarily withheld aid to Ukraine.
Nobody pushed me, yes.
In other words, no pressure.
Democrats say the discussion is damning.
What those notes reflect is a classic mafia-like shakedown of a foreign leader.
President Trump is adamant, insisting he did nothing wrong.
It's the single greatest witch hunt in American history.
The call is at the center of a complaint filed by a whistleblower, concerned about the administration's actions. Democrats demand to see the whistleblower's full report.
And that whistleblower needs to be given the complete freedom to report any allegations of wrongdoing that have come to that whistleblower's attention.
The president says the call controversy and impeachment inquiry are simply Democrats playing politics.
So many great things are happening, and the Democrats feel they're going to lose.
In Washington, I'm Mary Maloney.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says that if the inquiry generates articles of impeachment, they would cover more than just Ukraine. For the second time in 6 months, the Senate has disapproved President Trump's border emergency declaration. The president tried to declare a national emergency to get the funding from Congress that is needed to pay for the wall. The vote, 54 to 41, is still short of the 2/3 majority that is required. That means 11 Republicans joined with all the Democrats to object to the president's action. The climate crisis could be even worse than we thought. That story's still ahead after the break.
And weather-wise, we're going to cool it down for tomorrow, but warmer temperatures are on the horizon. We'll talk all about that in my full forecast when Newswatch returns.
You'll be charmed when Loretta Lynn, the queen of country, shares her music and memories.
I looked at the songbook and thought, well, heck, this is easy. So I threw the songbook down and wrote my own songs.
She made it okay for women to go, yeah.
I just sang.
Look for Loretta Lynn on American Masters.
On Secrets of the Dead, a discovery that made news around the world.
Wow, so you're talking Grand Gallery size.
Cutting-edge technology lets us peer inside the Great Pyramid for the first time in 4,000 years. Scientists used infrared thermography and cosmic particle analysis and found unknown chambers inside the ancient wonder. Scanning the pyramids on Secrets of the Dead.
When you crisscross Europe with conductor violinist Scott Yu, you won't be alone.
Meet the greatest musician of all time, Johann Sebastian Bach.
This is him, definitely. This is a riddle. You need to figure out what it means.
No, that's not right. Flip it around.
What I discover along the way will change my mind about Bach forever.
Join us for the astonishing Riddle of Bach. From now, hear this on Great Performances.
If anyone ever knew the recipe for a successful life, she did.
I'm Julia Child.
Julia Child. Who was she before she cracked her first egg? And how did she become America's favorite chef?
It didn't matter what she was doing. She was having fun while she was doing it. And you got swept up in that.
If I can do it, you can do it, and here's how to do it.
Take a fond look at Julia on American Masters.
Bon appetit.
Welcome back. Well, it was another very summer-like day out there. Here's a look at the satellite picture right now. We have a lot of clouds concentrated up in northwestern Ohio. That's all due to a cold front that's kind of pushing its way through the state as we go throughout the night. We'll talk about that in a second, but first here's a current look at the jet stream. Nice little trough out here, nice little jet streak as well. That's driving that cold front we'll see later. And here's the surface features again. Here's that cold front right here. That'll push through tonight. So again, here's that cold front pushing through tonight. A wet morning, there will be a wet morning tomorrow because of the rain from the cold front, but it will be a very nice day as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Here's that rain coming through. This is around 2 in the morning tomorrow morning, and the rain may stick around, especially further east and south in the viewing area. Here it is right here. Further east and south in the viewing area, we'll see that rain later. Further west and north, we'll see it a little bit earlier, but around 2 a.m. it'll come through here in Athens. But once that rain passes, it's going to be a cool day. There's a nice little trough in the jet stream keeping us really cool tomorrow, and it's going to be a splendid day. So tonight, 62, mostly cloudy, chance of showers about 40%. Winds will be out of the west-southwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour. Across the area, temperatures generally in the lower and middle 60s with that chance of rain pretty much anywhere you go. Cold front passes tomorrow, high pressure builds in, and that's what's going to bring in that beautiful weather tomorrow. 75, just a gorgeous day. Any outdoor plans, especially in the afternoon, will be gorgeous. Mostly cloudy in the morning, clearing in the afternoon. Winds will be out of the west-northwest, 0 to 5, all across the area. Beautiful. Temperatures in the middle and upper 70s under mainly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. High pressure moves off to the east, pumps up that warm weather, and it's going to really warm up as we go throughout the next couple of days and into the weekend. Warmer air surges up into the area this weekend, as I said earlier. A strong upper-level ridging pattern returns for the weekend going into next week. It's not going to see any relief from the summer-like weather we've been seeing today and really over the past couple of weeks. There's that ridge right there, this big red blob. That's going to bring up those warmer temperatures going across the next couple of days. Here's our 7-day temperature averages. We're only 3 degrees above average Thursday, warming you all the way up to 12 degrees above average for Friday, 16 on Saturday, and look by next Tuesday and Wednesday. 20 to 22 degrees above average for next week. Just going to be hot, hot, hot. 10-day air masses. Here's the current picture. Warmer air right now. It's going to come on down. The cooler air will come on down, as I should say, tomorrow, and it's going to cool this off. warming you back up into the weekend and cooling you back down by next Friday. Extended forecast, look at this hot weather. 88 on Monday, 88 on Tuesday, warming you all the way up to 89 by next Wednesday. Chances of thunderstorms as well over the beginning parts of next week. And Saturday is our best chance of rain at 60%. So Ben, it really looks like we're going to see summer just sticking around over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure that's not a bad thing in many people's eyes, at least. Yeah. Thank you for the forecast, Nicholas. Now on to rising climate concerns. The world's oceans are at risk more than you initially thought. According to a UN climate report on human-caused global warming, sea levels will likely rise more than originally projected by the end of the century. These higher levels would threaten coastal areas. Cities from New York to Shanghai could see regular flooding. The report called for immediate action to reduce greenhouse gases, which have impacted Earth's oceans and frozen regions. Over the weekend, people on the East Coast to as far as Germany and India protested for action on climate change. Every year in the United States, about 700 women die from pregnancy-related complications. A leading cause is preeclampsia. Now, some doctors are hoping an older therapy is prescribed more often to prevent it. Meredith Wood has more in today's Health Minute.
For years, women were discouraged from using aspirin during pregnancy, but two well-known organizations, the American College of OBGYNs and the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, are recommending low-dose aspirin therapy for pregnant women at risk of preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is a sudden spike in a mother's blood pressure. It can damage organs and put both baby and mother at risk. Dr. Carl Smith has been recommending to patients a low-dose aspirin therapy for the past few years. The chairman of the University of Nebraska's Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology says the therapy poses no significant risk to mother or baby unless the mother is allergic to aspirin or similar drugs. Smith says the key is for pregnant women to begin the low-dose aspirin between 12 and 16 weeks of pregnancy. He also says low-dose aspirin can prevent blood clotting. Those at risk should talk to their doctor about ways to prevent complications. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Hi, I'm Chloe G. Coming up on Newswatch, Ohio soccer and volleyball are back in action this week. Hear from the teams about looking ahead into the weekend. And then right after the break, an Ohio field hockey player was named MAC Player of the Week. Find out who when Newswatch returns.
What's up, Gridiron fans? I'm Joseph Hennessy, your host of Gridiron Glory. Make sure to tune in next week for our gauntlet of Friday night action. We're seeing Vinton County take on the Athens Bulldogs, heading out to West Virginia to see Wahama battle Fed Hawk. Chillicothe travels to Logan to do battle with the Chieftains, and West M looks for a second consecutive victory against those Generals from Sheridan. But make sure to follow our social media at Gridiron Glory and tune into our episodes on Friday night at 11:30 as well as Saturday morning. Remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Gridiron Glory.
On country music, Garth Brooks fills arenas.
This guy is selling out the stadiums, and he's one of us.
Country rediscovers its roots.
I don't think I would enjoy country music if it stayed the same.
And says farewell to Johnny Cash.
Every piece of American music, gospel, bluegrass, rock and roll, that was all in John.
Don't miss the finale of Country Music, only on PBS.
If anyone ever knew the recipe for a successful life, she did.
I'm Julia Child.
Julia Child. Who was she before she cracked her first egg? And how did she become America's favorite chef?
It didn't matter what she was doing. She was having fun while she was doing it. And you got swept up in that.
If I can do it, you can do it, and here's how to do it.
Take a fond look at Julia on American Masters.
Bon appetit.
You'll be charmed when Loretta Lynn, the Queen of Country, shares her music and memories.
I looked at the songbook and thought, well, heck, this is easy. So I threw the songbook down and wrote my own songs.
She made it okay for women to go, yeah.
I just sang.
Look for Loretta Lynn on American Masters.
Welcome back, I'm Chloe G. Ohio Field Hockey's Leah Warren was named MAC Offensive Player of the Week yesterday. Warren is the first Bobcat to receive Player of the Week since 2017. She led the team with 2 goals against Appalachian State last weekend, including the game-winning goal in the final minute of the game. She is currently tied with Kendall Ballard for the team lead with 4 goals this season. Warren will be going for the 5th goal of her season when she travels to Kent State to take on the Golden Flashes this weekend. The Ohio volleyball team traveled to Denton, Texas and picked up a 2-1 record last weekend. Junior opposite hitter Maggie Denoba recorded her 3rd double-double of the season, crushing 11 kills and picked up 10 digs. Moving forward, the Bobcats are headed into MAC play this weekend with a Friday game against Bowling Green, and Saturday they face Miami. The Bobcats know they are facing 2 tough opponents this weekend, but they are ready to take on the challenge.
We're super confident, but we're still hungry at the same time. We went 2-1 in North Texas, and obviously we would have rather gone 3-0, but I think that loss let us be a lot more hungry than we would have been if we were 3-0. So I think in a good way it has us motivated, and of course we have Miami and Bowling Green coming up, which is, I don't think you can start opening the MAC with that is any better than that. So we're all super excited and pumped up and ready to go.
The Ohio soccer team was off to a great 5-0 start, but they find themselves in the middle of a losing skid. After facing a tough non-conference schedule, the Bobcats are eager to get back in the win column. This Friday, the Bobcats begin MAC play, traveling to Northern Illinois to take on the Huskies. Although the recent struggles, the Bobcats believe that their non-conference schedule has them ready for MAC play.
I think one of the biggest things that we try to do is when we do our non-conference schedule to schedule teams that are going to push us, they're going to really stretch us and make us be at our best. And unfortunately, we weren't at our best against Georgetown, but we learned a lot. I think we approached that game like we'll approach all of our MAC games.
Defensive struggles have played a large role in Ohio's current 3-game losing streak. The Bobcat defense gave up 45 points to Louisiana this past weekend in their 45-25 loss. Offense hasn't been the issue, though, for Ohio, but they find during their bye week they will use it to clean up things defensively as the Bobcats prepare for their conference opener against Buffalo on October 5th.
Really just tackling. That's been our challenge so far. We did a great job communicating this game, and in the previous games it was communication and tackling, so it's like we're starting to cover the boundaries slowly. So we look forward to making more tackles in 2 weeks.
The Indians find themselves in a close race for the final wild card spot for the MLB playoffs. In his first game back, Jose Ramirez wasted no time before hitting a first-inning grand slam. He turned around and hit a 3-run home run on the opposite side of the plate. Out of the 11 of the Indians' runs against the White Sox, Ramirez accounted for 7 of them with his big bat. Another big game tonight for the Tribe as they take on the White Sox. Should be fun, Ben.
Thank you, Chloe. It doesn't look like the baby bottles of today. Instead, scientists say this infant is drinking from a recreation of an ancient baby bottle. Researchers discovered 3 ceramic bottles in graves in Bavaria. The 3 vessels were analyzed, and researchers say they appeared to contain milk residue. The researchers believe the milk came from domesticated cattle, goats, or sheep. And now let's head back to Nicholas for a final look at the weather.
Thanks, Ben. A beautiful day tomorrow. 75 will be the high, mostly cloudy in the morning, clearing in the afternoon. So if you have any plans, especially tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Winds will be out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Across the area, temperatures will be just gorgeous in the middle and upper 70s. 75 in Columbus, 74 in Newark, 74 in New Lexington, 77 the warm spots in Ripley and Ironton, all under mainly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. Clouds will clear out as we go throughout the afternoon tomorrow. Extended forecast. Look at this warm-up coming in for the weekend and even going into next week. Chance of thunderstorms on Saturday with a high of 86. Chance of rain on Sunday with a high of 86. And then we warm you up into the upper 80s and lower 90s going to start out your work week for next week. Ben?
Thank you, Nicholas. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Ben Schwartz. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.